in Malaysia, things still surviving the virus and all. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's everywhere else.
Yeah,
Yep.
man. This virus is just a bad guy. He's a bad guy.
Yeah. Hope it goes away soon because it took 2020 away from us. There's nothing else
Yeah, man. It's
left to do
like,
for us.
yeah, man. That's the thing. It just like it kind of. I mean, some people told me they hate this word, but it's what you call it is that whole thing in disguise. It's a blessing in disguise. But I mean, it worked for some of us. It didn't work for some of us. A lot of people lost their jobs. It's crap. And as we were talking just prior to the show, that you said that officially from tomorrow, Kuala Lumpur is going under lockdown. So
Yeah, we already had one for about 2 months, which apparently it helped to reduce the cases of people getting sick. But then again, the numbers are like back and they're like double this time again. So the
mhm.
government is forcing another lockdown right now. Although it's not as strict as the first one, because previously we were not allowed to even leave our houses, even go outside. But now you can even go to work, but just cannot travel far distances, and you're not allowed to dine outside and a few other restrictions like that.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I mean, we had it here in Dubai as well for a while, and it was like people were losing their shit. It was crazy. Man, I mean, we all know this pandemic is a bitch, and everyone needs to work around it. So you know what? Let's start with you, man, Shavkat. You're from Tajikistan, and you're staying in Kuala Lumpur. So tell us about your journey. How was it in early like in your early age? How like what was the whole introduction for you to music? Did you listen to like metal bands and suddenly decided to become a musician and pursue this as in like as a hobby or as like a you know? So just introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah. Oh man, this is gonna be so bad.
It's all good, man.
Even
We all had that rough time,
yeah. I mean, I wish I could say, that, oh, I used to listen to like rock music or like progressive rock or even metal, but unfortunately, that's not the story for me because I grew up in Central Asia, which is like post-communism, and there was not a lot of import and export during the time that I was growing up because it's right after the breakup of the whole empire, let's call it, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happened that a lot of music was just a local music, and I don't know if you anybody who has listened to it, you would know that Russian music is very pop driven. It's a lot of this mainstream, this like
It's like EDM.
dancey music.
Yeah.
Yeah, dancey music, of course. So I always had an interest in it, but I never really thought that how to explain this is that you always have interest, you have the passion for it, but you don't know that you got to get up and start learning. That's going to take time to get to what let's say you want to you imagine yourself singing or writing songs or performing songs, but
Mm-hmm.
from the place that you want that to the place that you'll be able to do that, it's learning skills like playing instruments, being able to sing, being able to write, being able to record. So that was always stopping me until I came to Malaysia, and I think I saw a lot of musicians here in university, and everybody was playing a little bit here and there. And then I was like, oh, I want to learn. I want to be able to do that because I saw a lot of people don't do it in my country. Music, only like they're superstars, and then there's just very few underground musicians, at least in my circle of friends. But then you come to Malaysia and you see people playing music, and then you're like, oh, since they can do it, means I can do it too, And then you start
Mm-hmm.
learning a little bit here and there, and that's how I got introduced to like more rock music. And because the music that I was listening to was not enough to learn, especially guitar. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it started from there.
So, what was the first band you listened to that it made you pick up the guitar, man?
I used to play back home a little bit. We bought like a guitar for the last year that I was in my country before I left, but I can't remember the first band. But I know that one of the bands that had a biggest influence on me, and I still listen to them to these days, and I enjoy them. I mean, of course, they are Russian bands, so you wouldn't know them. But those who do, if I translate their name to English, they're literally called Heads Up, right? And
Okay.
so they had these kind of melancholic, sad love songs, but also they had these dancey songs, and they would think about them like they were like the Backstreet Boys of our part of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I was madly in love with them, and I used to follow them like almost like religiously at that point, and I think they're the one who started like the passion in me.
Oh man, that's crazy because for me, I never like Iran is not like very uh, like it's not super well, like it's there is metal bands and rock music and stuff like this, but it's very underground. Plus, I have never lived my life there, so I don't know anything about that area. It's just that I got to know the music and everything through high school here, so through the movies and stuff like this. We all started with the Backstreet Boys phase, NSYNC, and all these things till you figure out other things, man. It's just crazy. It's just crazy, man. It's good that again, at least you understand Russian, but I don't, but
Yeah, true. It all started for me, like I would say until I was 18, like it was all that very that fabricated pop that you hear on TV and radio. It was all of that until I came to Malaysia and I got introduced to even like classic rock. Honestly, I probably knew Scorpions, I knew Eagles, like a couple of Hotel California, everybody knows.
Yeah.
But that was it. I didn't know Led Zeppelin. I didn't know Guns N' Roses, but I think because I was so how to say, the moment I heard it, I knew this is what I want to listen to, and I kind of connected it very fast. So I digested the music very fast. Like if you think about it, I've been listening to like rock music or Western music in general for only 10 years, but the amount that I know about Western music in 10 years, I think I've managed to learn and digest it very fast, which I think is good.
And like regarding that whole, so what was the first things that you discovered in Malaysia once you landed here? Was it like you took a musical class, or it was just like meeting different people that they were listening to this type of music?
No, it was I've never really taken classes for guitar. The way it started, that you would it's a university life, people are hanging out by the hangout area of the university. You go and somebody plays guitar, and then you're like, hey, what song is that? I want to hear it. And they give you the name of the song, you type it in and go home, listen to it. This is pre-Spotify era,
Yeah.
YouTube music was still a thing. So that's how I got introduced, and I would ask for more bands. I'm like, I like this music, I want to hear more things like that. So I remember the first like rock band that I actually fell in love with. See, this is going to be so embarrassing because this is not even like a classic rock band, it was Alter Bridge, which is like a band from 2000s,
Man, Alter Bridge is amazing, man.
Oh, I love them. I still listen to them. They're probably like, they were my introduction to like heavy rock music, and I heard them and I'm like, I love this. And from there, of course, it went to Opeth, and then I started diving into classic rock and like Guns N' Roses, Led Zeppelin, and Black Sabbath, and so forth. And you went on. But Alter Bridge was like my first entry to rock music.
I mean, that's great, man. I mean, all of us started from somewhere with with some specific tune or band or that type of music, and like I always we all know it. It's vibrations and it's like energy that they, transcend it to you. Transfer it to you. Wow, I used the wrong word. Anyway, so dude, it's great that so back in the days, you from early age, you didn't had any passion or anything for music. Was it something that just came up in your life, as in like something you heard or you've seen on the TV and you liked it? It wasn't like a childhood type of passion in you, like a power skill within you?
No, it was always. I always had the passion that I knew, there's a connection that you can feel, but you can't really describe it because you are in the wrong place. Like I said, I come from very non-musical family. Almost nobody except one of my uncles doesn't play music really. So I had the passion, but I couldn't express it, and I didn't know what it was as well. So what I did, I remember I was quite young, like 7, 8 years old. What I used to do is just write like poems or like rewrite song lyrics. Because that's the only thing I could do. That's the only thing I knew how to do at that time. And so I always had the passion for it. And there's a small thing that I should mention here, which probably a lot of people don't know. But what happened is that when I was around 15, 14 years old, I started really digging music, to just try my best to get something done. I didn't have the right tools. So during that time there was a hip hop was quite famous, right?
Mm-hmm,
And we
mm-hmm.
all used to listen to it. So there was this software called Hip Hop EJ that you used to like use
Oh man,
samples to
wow,
create.
EJ is like super, super old school, man.
So yeah, I mean, because for me, honestly, I didn't have any other tool to get exposed, to like try to do what I want to do deep inside. And so that was the first thing. I used to just put samples, put a beat together, and try to make music. And some of this, I did like some hip hop beats for local artists in my country, some friends and all. And until I bought my guitar, which I was about 16 years old, I think, and a friend of mine gave me Fruity Loops,
Oh
the
yeah.
program. Yeah, and then because in those previous softwares that I'm talking about, you couldn't create your own. All you could do, you could just use like a match and mix and match samples, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all you could do. But this already gave me ability to create my own, and it was a whole different world. And from there on, I knew that I just need to learn this. I just need to acquire the right skills right now, and I'll be able to do it better.
Yeah, man, dude, it's super crazy how we got introduced to music. So, man, so now you are a sound engineer as well. I mean, because of your love for music, picking up the guitar and stuff like this, it made you to, it kind of urged, that urge was there that you need to sit down and do things by yourself, and you started doing sound, like, you learned sound engineering to some extent by yourself, and it was much more of like home studio stuff. So tell us about that. Tell us how was the journey with that thing.
Yeah, I think once you find your passion for music, everybody has it differently. Some people are more passionate about performing. Some people are more passionate about just jamming. For
Mm-hmm.
me, it was always about doing like recording. I think writing and recording. That was the end. I mean, I've done performances here and there. I've performed a lot with a band, without a band, and so forth. But I think at the very core of it, my full passion, I would say, sits on the fact that I am able to write music and record music.
Mm-hmm.
And so of course that led me to starting writing music when already I had enough skills to play the guitar and to be able to sing somewhat, and I started writing, and of course that naturally leads you to recording. So you buy the equipment and fail for like first
Yeah.
2 years, of course. And after that, what I did is that I subscribed to a couple of YouTube channels and so forth, and ask people that I know how they're doing it, and attend kind of because our university had a sound and music faculty, and some of the friends were studying there.
Mm-hmm.
So they used to go, and the assignments were like recording and mixing and mastering. So I used to attend and see how they do the recording, like it's not only just about mixing, but also how do you record, the process of recording, like
Mm-hmm.
mic placement and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
So I really got into it, and I think when I did the album, there was like a true, like by then before I even started recording, I had to sit for like 6 months and learn all the tricks that I could at that point. So I did it, and I did the album, and it was not the best, but it was okay for what it was. And I think then I took a break from that, went back to writing and recording again. And during the MCO, the lockdown that we had about 2 months ago, I was at home every day. So of course, again, came back to it and started relearning the things that I missed.
Mm-hmm. Well, which one of your project is one of your old school project, which is called Music 101. Can you give an introduction to that? Like, what is the whole concept behind it? I think it started. Correct me if I'm wrong. It started with like a jam nights in some spots in KL, and then you just moved on, or maybe I'm
Yeah.
mistaken.
So no. It's almost there. I think you even attended a couple of the shows, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
man. Yeah.
Yeah. So it started in back then. I was living in Cyberjaya, and it didn't really have any music scene. KL had a good music scene, but Cyberjaya had a lot of talents, but nobody, no place to go and play and jam. So me and another common friend of ours, Ali, came up with the idea that we should just talk to there was a like a coffee shop that had a small stage with instruments. So we spoke to them, and we were like, we're gonna bring people that we know, organize one event, like put posters up and Facebook invites and so forth. And so that's how it started. So it was just people coming in and playing, and of course it wasn't like proper performances, it was like small stage. So a guy came to play Radiohead song, and somebody knew the chords and would jump up with him on stage, and then a guy would jump up to play a shaker or any instrument that you could add. It was like the stage always had, I think, half of the people that were in the crowd, and that's how it started. Yeah, so went for a couple of shows. It was very good, and towards the end I think the energy kind of died. We couldn't really continue it, so I think we took the right decision to stop it completely before it becomes like annoying and boring. And then now, of course, with everything that's happening, there's no more live performances allowed anywhere. I think it's the same case in your place as well.
Yes,
So
exactly.
and now that I'm getting, as I said, like during the lockdown, I was really getting into recording even more and like recording techniques and so forth. So I decided, why don't I try to use it properly, do something out of it. So we tried a couple of things. We even had an idea for a live podcast, but as a music recording podcast, not really like speaking. That didn't work out. We did a couple of test recordings with a friend, didn't work out, moved on to the next thing. And one day I was like, why don't we bring Music 101 back? And since we're not allowed to perform live, what we can do live recordings. So we released our first track, I think less than 2 weeks ago. And I'm already spoken to a few friends, and I think we'll start recording soon the second and third session and so forth. So yeah, there's a YouTube channel I think people can follow. There's going to be more. We do covers, we do originals, we do whatever. We just do live music.
Which, it's a good segue that we're gonna watch one of your videos that you posted, the one you mentioned. It's gonna it was posted 2 weeks ago. Just before going to that, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in, and please share this video, this live stream, with your friends and on your timeline. Let them know about the page. Let's bring more traffic to the page. And again, thank you very much for sticking around. And today's guest is Shavkat. We're gonna be talking about his journey in music, and we're gonna showcase some of his stuff, which we're gonna be showcasing your most recent release, which is it has sax, it has saxophone in it, which it was kind of off when I heard it. I'm like, what? This is so good, But you know what, guys? We're gonna jump into the video of Music 101, and we're gonna come back to you guys shortly.
All right.
Okay, there was some mistake. It's weird, man. It's freaking weird.
What's wrong?
Okay, I made a mistake. I think it's this one.
It's something sweet to throw away. I need something good to die for, to make it beautiful to live. I want a new mistake, loses more than hesitate. Do you believe it in your head? I can go with the flow, na 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 na. Don't say it doesn't matter anymore. I can go with the flow, na 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 na. Do you believe it in your head? Do you believe it in your head? Do you believe it in your
I think that was the best one.
Yo, man, that's such a crazy video, and the light, all the lighting and stuff like this. It looks super simple, but it has that punch, So, okay, this one is a cover, yeah.
Yeah, thank you first of all. And yes, it's a cover of Queens of Stone Age
Yeah, man.
song.
So, I mean, for me, it really captured the essence of, it's just you two sitting there, and like, that's our good friend, by the way. This is our friend Yazan. And so, you know what? I will not talk anymore. So you explain what's this whole thing about it. Like, okay, this is because this is part of Music 101, and he's one of the core people that you guys started this. So just give an introduction to the whole thing.
I mean, yeah. So like I said, the whole plan with Music 101 is that we want to do more recordings as similar to what you saw right now. Is that to have live music, it has to be, it can be cover song, it can be an original song, it can be anything, basically.
Yes.
Just want to play live music and try to capture that energy of the live performance, And so for that song specifically, it was our first try. When we honestly recorded it, I think we didn't even know it's going to be Music 101 video yet. What we did was, Yazan is a good friend of ours, and he's always played with me before. So I told him like, hey, let's take this song and do a live recording of it. And he agreed. So we chose it, and we decided to sit one down. We did 1 day recording, which didn't come out as well. I think the setup of the microphones was wrong, and the sound, we didn't capture the sound that we wanted to. Then we came back after 2 days and did another recording, and yeah, we have what you see right now. And I think it turned out pretty good for the first try.
And okay, this whole Music 101, do you have any like initial plan for it, or like on a bigger scale, as in not that bigger scale, as in like would it still be like jam nights, and it will have this concept of people coming in and out, as in like different musicians and collaborations, some sort of this type of things?
Ideally, ideally the plan for it is, if you have seen the YouTube channel called KEXP.
I'm not familiar with that.
So it's this US based radio channel. What they do is that they have a studio, but this is like a full studio, with drums and multiple guitars and multiple vocal mics and so forth. And what they do is that they invite musicians, and those musicians just play. So what they do, they capture the performance live, they edit the videos later, and then release it on YouTube. It's a popular YouTube channel. And that would be my ideal goal for now, is that to be able not only to record guitars, but also to be able to record drums and bass and like full band recording live.
And
That's the goal for it now.
and Maxime is saying where we can find your videos, Shavkat.
So yeah, thank you, Maxim. We have a YouTube channel. I think I shared it on my Facebook as well. And if you can see it, you can just search Music 101 on Facebook. It has a very synthwave kind of style logo. That's very old school logo. And you can just subscribe to the channel, and there'll be more and more videos coming there.
So you know what? As you mentioned, okay, this is the this video that's called The One. This is your production. This is solely Shavkat.
Yes. So I do music left and right. You know, like whatever.
yeah.
I try to insert myself wherever I can.
Which we're
horrible
gonna
as
be
that
yeah
sounds.
yeah which we're gonna be talking about your projects and details, because you have a project with another friend of mine called his name is Gas, which he was on the show like a couple of months ago, and that project called Shavgas. It's a collaboration between you and him. We're gonna be playing one song from the new upcoming stuff that you're doing as well. So we're gonna be like, let's talk about your projects. So as because you said you do music left and right, man. So how that this new song that you did by yourself, I think you did the production, yeah?
Yeah. So this, like we have Music 101 running where we focus on video recording and audio recording a lot. For me, for Music 101, I think my role in that comes more as an engineer rather than a musician. So we did the first one because we didn't have anybody else to do the test. So I kind of sang and played myself. But ideally, my goal would be that somebody else would sing and I would just take care of the production of the sound. And then we have Shavgas, as you mentioned, a project that a friend of ours, Gas, and I did. First, it was supposed to be just an album, but then I think we kind of exceeded our own expectation, maybe not other people's. And then we were like, why not keep doing this? Because the way we were working was very well. I think he was pushing me a little bit, which was very good, which I always need and I never do myself. And I think I was bringing something to him that kind of was helping him as well musically. And we were like, why not keep it? So we released another song recently, and we are working on a third one and have many more ideas coming up. So we have that. And besides all of that, then I kind of have my own solo Shavkat thing, as you said, where that's very, I think I would say it's very experimental. Hence the song that you mentioned, the saxophone. Because there's just me only, so I can do whatever I want. If I decide to put an electronic song tomorrow, I will do it. If I decide to put a saxophone solo, I will do it.
Yeah, man, exactly.
And so that's how that song came to. I think, like you said, it's a bit different from what I usually do, but I had this idea to do instrumental music for a while, and I did that. And I did first the saxophone recording, and there's another friend of mine singing as well there, a girl doing the vocals. I did like a MIDI instruments, and of course you can't get it right ever. And then I had this fan on Facebook, and I knew he plays, so I contacted him. I was like, hey man, like I have this song and I need somebody if you're free. And he was so kind to say yes right away. He came over, we did the recording in one day for the saxophone, and then we have the song ready.
Which if you're good to go, we can hear the song. And okay, this song called The One, but still, like, can you give an introduction to the name, or what is it about? Or it's like just something that Shavkat, it was running in Shavkat's brain, so Shavkat decided just to put it on a tape and just record it.
Okay, about the name, it's a kind of a funny story, because the song is not what it was when I first did the demo. Is that the reason why it's called One? Because the whole verse part of it was played on a one note. So that's why I just didn't have a name for it. So I called it One, because it was just a single note for playing for like a whole 30 seconds. But of course that sounds very boring, right? So I decided to add a bit of notation here so it sounds more musical. But the name stayed. I couldn't come up with a better name, so I just called it The One.
Okay, so guys, this song called The One is from Shavkat, my guest. So we're gonna give a quick listen to it and come back and we'll talk about it. So,
Or I
Shafkat,
can see.
Shafkat, tell us about this video, man. Tell us about the whole experience in recording because as you said, this song was recorded in the studio. So, tell us about it. How was it? Was there any obstacles on the way, or how was it? How was your uh, how did you feel about it?
It was very good. I mean, in general, to describe it. But what was different is that it's the first time I kind of collaborated with other people in recording. Like prior to this, especially if you take like Shavkat out and Music 101 out, everything that I did under the name Shavkat was only done by me, from recording to mixing and mastering and so forth. Even the artworks friends would help, but this time I was like, I should step out of my comfort zone. So that's how I got a friend of mine to play the saxophone, another friend to do the vocals. And so it was very, very exciting. I wouldn't say there were really any obstacles. I think it took too much time for me to do. I spent way too much time than I should have in the mixing and mastering phase, just to perfect that little thing. I guess it wouldn't make any difference, but I don't know. To me, that is
Yeah,
important
obviously,
before I get it
yeah.
out.
Obviously, you need to sit down with the track because it's your track. You don't want to just release something.
Correct, because once it's out, you cannot take it back. It's there, and that's it. It's gone. So I'll just make sure. And I spent about more than 2 weeks in that phase. And yeah, and then once I had the song ready, then another issue was to do the video. Like I think that's something you asked about as well. First, I wanted to talk to Gas to do a video for me, and of course, I mean, he's so kind. He was up for it right away. But then I was just sitting at home one day, and there's this program called MI. It's basically have you ever used this software called Winamp?
App, you mean?
Winamp. It's we used to listen to music to it.
Yeah,
back
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in the-
Winamp. Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah.
That stuff was
So
legit.
you-
Like,
you
yeah.
know.
Go ahead.
So it has if you remember, it had this section for where it used to auto-generate visualization for the song that you used to play. So that thing it's a plugin, it's a software by itself that you can use. It was just integrated inside Winamp. I don't remember, I can't recall the name right now. If I'm not mistaken, it's called MIK or something like that. And so I still use Winamp. So I was just sitting and listening to the song on Winamp, and I'm like, this would be a cool idea to use that the software to generate music video for it. And the thing is, those programs, the way they generate the color or the visual is based on programming, So then which is thankfully what I do as well. So I sat through, I'm going to be honest, I didn't create new ones. I used existing templates. I just modified them for the color a little bit and for the animation a bit, because you do that by setting like geometrical formulas and so forth. I did that. And yeah, so once I had the visuals ready, I just hit record, and I just recorded my screen while it was playing and imported it to the song. That's how it happened. Yeah, it was quite quick and surprising results.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I mean, like, we like, when people use like I like this whole DIY stuff that sometimes we come up with, like, just do it on your own, and you find ways to do things. It's fun, when you tell this to other friends. It's like, yeah, I did. Like, for example, like my friend was like, how do you like record yourself, like walk, like standing and stuff. I'm like, do you have like a stand for it? I'm like, no, I'm just using Velcro tape that is laying over my house for the guitar pedals. I'm just just using that. So I love this tricky stuff that we do. And by the way, man, like Maxime is in the house. I forgot to give a shout out to the guys, man. Thank you very much, guys, for tuning in, and people who are still watching. Zubair was in the house. I think he's still watching. Zubair, if you're here, thank you very much for tuning in. Adnan is watching. Thank you very much, Adnan. And Jaya saying nice. That was earlier in the session. Maxime was saying, yeah, Maxime is in the house. Thank you very much, Maxime. And guess who's in the house? Gas is in the house, and he's saying woot woot.
Hey.
Man, by the way, guys,
And thank you guys for the comments.
yeah, man. Hey, by the way, guys, if you have any questions for Shavkat, please put it in the comment section. I'm sure he's more than happy to answer your questions. And Zubair is saying this was Kuwait. Wow, man, my English is just like dying. This was quite insightful. Yeah, man, dude. It's like the thing is, like with musicians abroad, it's just a different complete different scene, which it's a good segue, man. Can you just tell us a bit? Like, I'm sure you guys had a hard time to, showcase your music and stuff in KL's music scene because it's kind of it's not conserved. It's like it's a bit weird. If you catch my drift, it's like they're cool with it, and then suddenly, you know, they're not cool with it. Just give us some insights about the whole music scene in KL, and was it hard for you to like to play some shows or not? Just give us some insights.
I think in general it's a very welcoming scene. Even that's not only my feedback, but other people who came here from Australia and all. We met them and we spoke a lot, and they said people here are quite welcoming, and I think it is. But there's an issue with the fact that there's just as far as you can go in KL, like because a lot of people here still listen to like music in Malaysian language, and or Chinese language and so forth. But when it comes to like English music, people prefer to listen to the Western, which is like American or from UK or from Europe, which is high, of course, super high quality production, probably better songs. But I can think there are bands that do as good music in Malaysia, just that nobody knows them. And so you see, like you can enter the scene, I think, relatively easy. There are a couple of venues that you can get to talk to people, and they will be more than welcoming to have you play there. Some of them have some of their own rules that you kind of have to follow, like Merdekaria, the most famous venue to play, is that you have to play 80% original music. You can't do covers more. Like if you're playing 10 songs, only 2 covers are allowed.
Wow.
If you fit that criteria, you're allowed to go on stage.
So it's like it's kind of strictly only for original music. That's crazy good, man. I mean, like, like over here, if you want to get like a contract to play, it's just going to be top 40 stuff, man. I mean, you're not allowed to do like originals at all, unless you do like a cover in your own way.
Yeah, no. I think the good thing is that the music scene pushes it, but the audience is not there. So, and that's one example. There's so many examples like that. I know there are a few other open mics that actually don't allow you to play cover songs at all. You only can play original music. And I'm not sure if it can be like a creative cover where you change the song, but I know it says that only originals. And so which is great. So which is amazing as well. I mean, if you are serious about music and you want to do it and you don't have 8 original songs, then you probably should be doing something else. And so this, in terms of that, it's great. They try to push the original music. They encourage you to play that. Even some of them have strict rules for you. You must play that. So in that sense, it's very great. But as I said, there's another problem, is that most of the time the audience is going to be the people, your friends, maybe a couple of extra people who just drop by to see who's playing tonight, But besides that, it's going to be the people that you invite. Like, I think
that, yeah. I mean, this whole your friends being here, like, being there for you while you're playing. I think it's the whole world. Like, when it comes to musicians, you always like you have your friends to be there for you. Because, man, I still remember that. Like with my band AKB, we either go first, which we were playing for no one, or like, we're just playing for our friends and the musicians that we know and the rest of the bands that they're going to be playing that night, or we're just at the end, which we're playing for the janitors, they're cleaning up the place and we're just like, playing metal. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. But again, it's about the musician who, like, obviously when you go on stage, you enjoy your time on stage, you just put it all out on stage. So, and Gas is saying, Shavkat, when I grow up, I want to be strong and big like you. Man, this Gas is a character, man. You know what? I don't get bored of him. By the way, for your information, guys, Gas will be on the show on 27th. So tune in. We're going to be talking about his digital artwork and his paintings and all this jazz. So that's going to be a great topic to talk to this guy, because this guy is just like, I remember like chilling with this guy. You don't run out of topics to talk to him. He knows a lot of things, man. That's
does.
crazy good. And okay, you know what? It's a good segment for jumping to the rapid fire rounds, which I gonna give you two options, okay?
All
And
right.
you can choose your preferred answer. But this time there is a bit of a twist. One of them, it's a quick answer. So if I name one thing, the first thing comes to your mind, you need to mention it. Are you good to go? I
Okay.
mean, I'm gonna explain the rules while we're doing it as well.
Sure. Let's do it. Let's do it.
So for people who are watching, please feel free to go ahead and tell us your choice, and join us. Just put it in the comment section. Let's have fun together. So the first one, Nirvana or Alice in Chains?
Oh, Alice in Chains.
Am I the only Nirvana guy here, man? I mean, I like Alice in Chains, but I love Nirvana, man.
No, I mean, they are, of course, Nirvana is the much better known one than Alice in Chains, but the Alice in Chains has such a darker sound that I think is so much better than Nirvana.
So yeah, I mean, again, I don't know. Maybe I'm the only Nirvana guy here.
Okay.
So moving on, this is the main one that I ask every metalhead that I know. Whoever listens to heavy music, like metal and band stuff. So because it's like the fight of the century, kind of. It's been there
Okay.
decades. Metallica or Megadeth?
Man, Metallica. Believe it or not, I've never listened to Megadeth in my life.
I don't even. I mean, okay, Megadeth for me it's like completely different than Metallica. Metallica has like a softer side to them. But I think it's
Yeah.
just because of the whole Dave Mustaine thing. They're becoming into two parties and like people choosing.
Yes, and honestly, this is not based. I know. There are like people take sides because he's against them, so we must be against them too. Like for me, it's not because of that. I tried to listen to Megadeth. I just didn't enjoy it as much as I did with Metallica.
We all have like memories with Metallica's music. So moving on, sound engineers should understand all genres. Yes or no?
I don't know. No, not at all. I think, in fact, the very reason that you don't understand genres helps you to do something creative. Because let's say if you understand jazz, right, and you would go with it and you just record a perfect jazz track with a beautiful piano solo and drum solo and bass solo and everything for like 12 minutes. But imagine you come from a metal background and you don't know about those things. So what you do, you end up recording maybe a more distorted guitar and you create a unison solo between the guitar and the bass, which is not usually a jazz thing, but you end up creating something more interesting. So I think, yeah, it's better if you don't.
So it's not a necessary. It's like it's not necessary for a sound engineer to understand the genre to to provide the whole procedure. It's just that I think the artist should come in with their homework. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's the way you're looking at it. Yes. Now that I think of it, the way you put it, because my initial understanding was that, let's say if I'm a sound engineer and I'm doing my own recording, right? But if you are a sound engineer and a proper jazz band is coming tomorrow to do record jazz, you gotta understand jazz, to do proper recording of them. So if you do your own, if you're maybe producing the band, you're not only there to record them, you're producing them, you want to kind of give them direction, you'll be very good. I mean, not necessarily good, but it could be a good thing that you don't understand that genre. But if you are a full-time like sound engineer at the studio and you have to record bands properly the way they are, then I think you must, know the genre.
Well,
Music, understand.
Yeah, man. I think we're in the same lines. So moving on, mixing is a bitch. Yes or no?
Definitely.
Oh man, mixing is a bitch. But okay, which part of it is it hard? Is it that you got something wrong during the recording, or is just that? What is it exactly?
I think one thing about mixing is that this is something I learned along the way, and if somebody's interested in this should understand that and I've said this to my friends a lot, is that mixing is not magic. Sometimes you record it like, okay, we'll fix it later and mix. Like, it's not gonna happen. Mixing is just to improve it a little bit, and polish it up. You can. So if you have like, I've done a lot of recordings, sometimes you capture the sound right from the very beginning, so you don't even have to mix it. Like it blends so well with the rest of the instruments. You can hear everything, and it's so good. And but if a thing is recorded wrong, then it takes so much time of tweaking it here and there just to make sure that it fits the song. And what makes it very annoying is, especially when you have that wrong mix, no matter what you do, because mixing is like, think of it like you have a bunch of ingredients, and you have to make sure that you're cooking food and make sure that the taste of every ingredient comes out. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to have that ingredient in the food, in the music, right? If you are recording a saxophone and there are drums playing, there's an electric guitar playing, there's bass guitar playing, there's acoustic guitar playing, there's the strings in the background, like in the song, right? You have to make sure that you hear everything. So if those sounds are captured wrong from the beginning, it can be very annoying, and it can be like, honest to the point you get pissed at the song and at yourself that you're not getting it right.
Yeah, it's the point that you just throw it in a recycle bin.
Yep.
So, man, you have the cat. The cat is there. So
Yeah, my cat is, I think, hungry.
So we're moving on, man. Composing or performing?
I know I already answered that question, but now that I think of it, composing.
I think now because
Definitely.
you're missing performing. That's why.
Yeah, I think ideally it's composing, but performing is to get inspiration to compose. Because if you just compose, it's not going anywhere. Eventually, your energy will die off, your passion will die off. So you perform, you interact with the audience, you perform those songs live, you hear people's reaction, and that gives you a lot of confidence on what to work next.
Exactly. Okay, moving on. 3 pedals that you can't get enough of. 3 guitar pedals that you cannot get it off of.
Okay. First of all, I used to use analog pedals before, but now I switched to digital fully. I mean, a lot of guitar players probably will hate me for that, but it was a better solution because it's so hard to move with a big pedal board around. But at the time that I had, it would be a Digitech Wah-Wah, it would be a Blues Driver by Boss, and it would be a digital delay by Boss as well. DD5, DD3, either one of those.
Yeah, man. Boss series, they're really good. They're really good.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. Easygoing dude, or you're a deadline dude? Like you prefer working like easy and stuff like this? You're easygoing, or do you prefer to work with the deadline?
Easygoing, but in a bad way, where I put myself in trouble. Like I put deadlines, but I don't follow them.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, so the next one is the section that I told you need to name the first thing that pops in your head while you hear that thing that I name. You good to go? So the first thing that comes to your mind, just whatever it is, just don't hesitate, just say it. Okay? First one, Kurt Cobain.
Honesty.
Okay, moving on, Slipknot.
Heavy. Super heavy.
Studio.
A place to be, to live, to sleep, to eat.
Favorite chord.
Oh, E minor.
Hey, that's wrong, bro.
What? I didn't say A minor. I said E minor.
A favorite tuning.
Standard.
Stage.
Fright.
Band.
Going far in music.
Yeah, man. I hope you enjoyed, because this is the new thing that I'm doing with this whole section.
Okay.
I'm trying to put the guest on their toes, just like the first thing that pops up in their head. That was a nice one with the whole stage fright.
No, it is honestly like the first. Every time I'm sure you perform as well, and whoever performs, they know that the moment you know you have a show tomorrow, you will start like getting nervous from the day before, from 24 hours before that.
Dude, you won't believe me. I don't know. I've told this to so many people. I never had stage fright. Only once.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even a stage fright. I said, did I say it's stage fright? It wasn't even a stage fright. When we were opening for Nickelback, the thing that
Oh, wow.
the stage manager came to us and said, you guys need to play for 20 minutes only. And we had like a designated area just to move on, like to move around. The guy said, if you put your foot one step ahead of this, I'll cancel everything. So basically we were just standing like mannequins and we are just playing instruments. So like, just imagine a stick and just playing. So it was crazy because they took like, I was nervous how we can wrap up this 40 minutes or like, let's say 30-minute set in 20 minutes. Man, we were playing everything like double the speed.
Wow.
It was crazy. But it was one of these things that I had fun because we were, dude, it was a sold out show. It was like 13,000 people. So I was like, man, this is it, like this is the time, So it was crazy. It was crazy good. I mean, stage fright, I never had it. Sorry to cut you off, man. Carry on.
No. I just wanted to, like you said, you don't have it. But for me, I cannot think of a time when I performed and I didn't have it. And honestly, I remember this one specific instance. This was early days. I was very young, like around 21, 20, probably one of my very first few years of starting to perform. This was in university, and it was a cultural event. So a lot of people were forced to come to the audience, even if they didn't want to. It happens in university, And so it was a huge crowd of like 200-300 people, and I had to play. And I was young. I was not experienced at all. Not that I am now, but it was so crazy. And I went on stage, and I'm really not joking. If you would only believe what I'm saying if you have been through that. And I've heard other people talking about it, and I know exactly what they mean. So before you go on stage, everything blacks out. The black curtain opens and you're out of the stage. Like you can't remember anything that happened on stage. That's how nervous I was.
Yeah, I mean, it happens. Some of our friends, they say like they're like completely a different animal on stage. Because with me, it's just like, for example, I will use my own experience. I'm just a different person on stage because the freedom I have on stage, the freedom that you have to, you can connect with the audience is just different, man. It's just, it's unless you've been on a stage in any format, then you can describe it. It's not something that, it's just a different vibe. It's a different vibration. It's a different feel, It's completely, I don't think I can put it in words. Unless we just put it in one word, as you said, fright, which it turns to be either happiness fright or it would be like devastating fright, So it's crazy. Dude, one of your most successful that I personally enjoyed a lot, because I remember talking to you guys once I was in KL. I'm like, why the fuck not you two? Or like, you guys have enough potential within your circle of friends that you guys can do shit ton of things together. And I'm so happy that you put a project together with Gas. And even though he's the enforcer, he put you in this spot, he made you do it, or he's the push. But you guys are really good together, which the project called Shavkat. Can you give us like a small introduction or like a backbone to the whole Shavkat storyline? And then we can hit it and we watch one of your most recent releases, which is called The Burning Mars.
Yeah. I mean, just one small thing I want to add. I don't want guests like to call me and sue me or like start beating me up. It doesn't enforce me in a bad way. It's a good thing. Like he pushes me, which is exactly what I need. Honestly, exactly what I need. And
you know why I'm laughing? Because I know Gas and I can see his face. Like I'm just laughing.
I should probably block him,
Yeah.
so he doesn't come up.
Yeah. So just explain a bit about Shavkat.
So like I said, this project came about a year ago, or probably a bit more than that. So initially the idea was that we were gonna just do an album with because Gas he's a musician and also an artist, right? So you have an amazing, talented person there. So what we did, we wrote some music, like short music for like 50 seconds, about 14 of them. And then he came up with the artworks. Sorry, the artworks came first, and then we did the music. And that project was done, called Frantic. It's available on Spotify and everywhere else. And at the end, like after we listened to the results, it was so beautiful, because for me, it was good because I was pushed out of my comfort zone, and I was able to do something that I never thought I could do. And that was really great. And after that, we were like, this chemistry is very good. Like, he brings out the best in me. So I was like, why don't we continue? At least from my perspective, that's how it was, And we decided to work on a couple of more. We tried to integrate more people into the project, like collaborate with more people. Didn't happen, but it still ended up being just me and Gas doing it. And we released this song that I think you're gonna play, called The Burning Mars. I think he came up with the name, but he came up with the initial idea as well of the structure. Then I just helped him to do additional guitars and do the drums and so forth. And then you have the song.
So
ready.
it's and before jumping into the song, Gas is saying "Love you too, man." Anyway, guys, this song is from Shavkat, and this song called "The Burning Mars." Enjoy it.
Technically can, I'm just...
Thank you. Yes, it's yeah. Sorry.
My mic is off. I was saying that this song is completely different than what you guys been doing in the whole Frantic EP that you guys released a few months prior. It's just crazy good. It's like completely different. It's completely different. Can you give us like an introduction? Like, just let us know more about this track. How was the procedure?
Yeah, thank you so much. First of all, like I said, the idea it came from Gas. He had pretty much the backbone of the song ready, and we went to his house, and he was like, "I have this idea." Like usually that's how it happens, right? Somebody comes up with the initial idea, and then we work it out the rest of it. So he played it, and it sounded beautiful. So we were like, why not work that idea further, right? And we tried a couple of recordings, like I think 1 or 2 recordings, and we couldn't get it right because I think what I helped with a bit more was with the structure of the song. I think like when this part should end, when the next part should start, and so forth. And yeah, so we did, and we had a friend of ours play the bass. But then there was some falling off there, and we decided just to do the bass ourselves. And we recorded the bass with guitar, with Gas as well, and the guitars. And that's how it came to life. Gas did the amazing artwork for it. I think the artwork was ready when we just had the demo already. And so that really helps a lot because it kind of gives you an idea where to take the song further. But yeah, it starts with this very, at least what I feel like is a very like traditional rock and roll, American rock and roll sound, and then goes into this more psychedelic solo towards the end, I think.
Well, which I told you, man, while we were listening to it, while everyone was listening to it, I told you it's like, for me, it has like a very stoner rock, post rock feel to it. Which then you said rock and roll. I'm like, okay. I mean, it's nice that we have different, like we have 2 different approaches to it. Which I'm sure you never thought that someone would tell you it sounds like a post rock, because it has that post rock feel to it that I like, I really enjoy. As I was listening to it, I was telling you, like very stoner, man. It's like I really like this type of stuff, which man, I would love to hear more from you guys, like this type of things, because I know that guy what you call Gas, he's into a lot of different type of music. When you believe me, guys, we were still watching, man, when you sit down with Gas, the amount of music he shows you is just like, man, you listen to a lot of bands and music and artists. How you cope up? How did you find all these guys? It's just like, I mean, you can see that through his artwork. You can see that. I mean, this is how it comes out, in my opinion. This is how it shows itself. While you listen to other music and other arts, you get inspired, and these things can actually, like, pop out in your own creativity, which is great, man. I'm really having high hopes for fucking Shavkat, and this project looks fucking promising. I hope the doors opens up in KL and they start putting shows together so you guys can actually take this up. And but still, you guys don't have like band members. It's only you and Gas so far.
Yes, I'm not sure, like at least this latest track, I'm not sure if we'll be able to perform it live because you need more band members, yes. The good thing about recording is you can do it in takes, so you can do the guitar and then the second guitar and then the bass and then the rest. Yeah, so but we had an idea to bring the Frantic, the first EP that we did, on the road, because when we wrote it, the idea was that we would play all of it live, but switching instruments. So if you kind of listen to it, every song doesn't go beyond 2 or 3 instruments at a time. That's the original EP. So that was the idea, that we were supposed to be able to play it live. But then honestly, to get the whole plan, because it's a 50-second songs that go on for about like 15 minutes, non-stop. So it's a lot of instrument switching, and it needs a lot of practice and work. So we were planning to work on that, and what happened is that our dear virus came over and took everything away from us.
Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's really like this whole thing really like pulled the plug on everything. I know musicians, I know my friends that they're musicians, that this was their bread and butter, to perform. They had like, contracts with hotels or like bars so they can play. But because of this whole thing, they're really struggling. Like entertainment business is super down. It's one of the sectors that got damaged like beyond belief, man. It's just crazy to, you know, like some people they don't even have another plan, you know. It's just crazy.
Understood.
Yeah, me like, you know, us being foreigners, and you know we're indulged in this type of activities, you know, like music and westernized things. It's not way open for us. I'm sure it's not that way open in KL as well, in Malaysia. It's, you know, you need to work your way out, like, you know, establish that understanding for everyone, which is quite hard, man. Shafkat, I always ask this question at the end from the guest. What is next for Shafkat?
A lot. Like I think we've been talking about it. Music 101. I think I'm planning to, and I'm hoping that thing takes off properly. We have a lot of great plans laid in front of us. We just have to execute them now, and then they'll be ready to go. Same thing goes for Shafgas. We are working on a new track, which we are probably record and release as Shafgas, but we will play it live on Music 101. At least that's the plan for now. And so many songs of my own that are coming up soon. I was when we spoke about doing this interview about 2 weeks ago, I told you I have another song that I'm supposed to release by before the interview, but it didn't happen. As always, I'm stuck in the mixing stage, you know.
You
trying
can
to get that last.
Yeah, you never
Correct.
you're never gonna be satisfied with your work.
Correct. So yeah, like I have a lot of songs which are ready. Just need a bit of fine tuning here and there, and they're good to go. And yeah, I'm good. I think so far I've been quite active. At least, like earlier you mentioned as well, is that there's kind of a bittersweet in this whole lockdown. Is that at least for me, it brought me back to the recording and releasing songs. Because I think after I did the album in 2017, I was like idle for almost like 2 years. There was nothing in between, but for the past year it's been every 2 months or 1 month I've been releasing something at least. So there's been a lot more things coming up soon, definitely.
Well, man, what do you think this like do you see a bright future for the musicians abroad, and like, you know, musicians such as us, you know, that things will open up soon? Or okay, like well, like what I'm trying to say is that what is your take? Where do you think this thing is going? Is it going to be like happening anytime soon, or we're just going to be in this mess for a while?
I think we're going to be in this mess for a while, for longer than we imagined, but I can see a great rise in demand for entertainment and other sorts of media that hasn't been around for a while. Like, I think people are going to start going to live shows a lot more than they did, because those things were taken for granted before. And now that we don't have it, like, I haven't seen a live show since February. You know, I used to go like every maybe once a month or twice a month to Merdekarya, see how the bands play, or different venues. But since then I haven't, because it's been closed down. They opened for a week. They had a couple of performances, but I just didn't get a chance to go. And now it's closed down again. So I have that crave for it. And I think same thing goes for everybody else. There's going to be like we just have to make sure that we survive. I mean, we can do our best, but right, hopefully the vaccine comes out and this whole virus disappears. Once we survive until the end of this, I think things are going to be better than they ever were afterwards.
Hopefully. And Gas is saying, Shavkat, you're one of the most talented, hardworking musicians I ever met. Honored to be in a duo with you to infinity and beyond.
Man, thank you so much, guys.
Yeah, man, you know what? Screw you too. I want to be part of this thing now. Man, Shavkat, dude, it's always a pleasure talking to you, because, you know, Gas, sorry if I'm saying this. You, like me and Gas, we have that dumbness about us. Like when we get dumb together, you know, we sit down and we get dumb to that point. And I'm sure Gas knows what I'm talking about. Maybe he doesn't know, but I mean, I can remind you. And I don't want to ruin my show by, you know, revisiting those topics that we talked about. You know, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, always with you was a different approach. It's like, you know what? you're like, I feel that I'm talking to a gentleman, but a gentleman that understands me and he loves the stuff that I love. It's much more of like polite, like this politeness in you is just like, it's freaking valuable, man. It's
Thank you so much. Thank you.
like even today, like, we don't talk that much. We don't, we don't have a conversation more often, but whenever we catch up, we have enough to talk about. We can actually like, just talk about a topic and move on, and we can just click, easily for us. I think that's because we're musicians and we understand what we want. We understand our own languages and stuff like this. And dude, I said all that stuff just to tell you I had fun talking to you in this session, man. It was great to see the things from your scope, how you're dealing with stuff and where you are heading with your journey in the music, with Gas, with your own project, and with your job, the software engineering and all these things. And man, it's crazy. And yeah, Gas is saying, yeah. Oh no, Max is saying, yeah, Gas is dumb. I agree. And Gas is saying, fuck off, Max. Look, I already started a fight even way out of KO, Man, I really miss you guys, by the way. Gas, Max, and dude, I really miss chilling with you guys. And I hope we can, gather together again. Maybe, make a song, just jam. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun catching up on these
Definitely.
all these missed memories that we had. Man, again, man, thank you very much for joining me for this session. Just for the last thing, do you have any final words? If you want to tell them where they can find you on social media and stuff like this.
Just one thing, I just want to say big thanks to Gas and Max team and whoever stayed. I mean, it looks like they were around the whole time, so thank you guys a million. Your support it's invaluable, like honestly. And yes, thank you as well, Ahmed, for doing this and inviting me. It's always, I think I consume a lot of information, but I should share sometimes as well. I hope I didn't get too technical today, especially like lately with sound engineering and all. And yeah, it's great. It was great. A lot of things to learn, a lot of things to share. Thank you so much. I wish all the best for the show. I remember we were doing this about a few months back.
Yeah.
It's amazing to see how far you've come, and
Thanks,
we're all
man.
super proud of you. And I hope, even goes further than this.
Thank you.
And like you said, for social media, I think Instagram is where I only keep it to music only, and my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get my YouTube channel more active lately, but Instagram is the best place where I keep all the updates and everything there.
So I'm gonna be taking the links from you, which is like Shavkat's Spotify and your Music 101 channel on YouTube and all these good stuff. So I'll put them in the caption so you guys can go and check their music out. And last but not least, Muhannad Al-Ama is saying, I always enjoy playing music with Shavkat, and I'm gonna visit you soon at your new studio. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Muhannad. Yes, please do. We should really. Muhannad and I used to play in a band as well, and we had amazing shows out of this world live. That project was more for live music, and we did a whole Pink Floyd show. I still have the picture. Sometimes I look and I'm like, damn, it was a good day. Please, man, whenever you can, come visit me in my studio. I want to record with you and do whatever we can.
Hopefully everything opens up. And please, guys, we are reaching to the hardest part of this whole pandemic now. Please keep distance. Please wash your hands. Do all the necessary stuff, because it's just getting out of hand. So it's only us that we can prevent this, and no one else. So let's help each other. Let's help our families, our loved ones, just to stay safe. And you guys stay safe as well. And Shavkat, you stay safe at home. Have a good time recording, and fiddling around with your cat. By the way, show your cat to the audience, man.
Wait, she's. I hope she doesn't fight me.
She fights you.
Of course, it's a very feisty.
I don't think she's happy,
Yeah, sorry, she's very. Give me a minute. Give me a second. Oh, there she is. Like that. There you go. There's my cat.
Hello. Hello. Oh man.
There you go. You're on famous.
You're famous now.
Yes. There you go.
No worries, man. I will let you loose, man. It was an amazing session, man. And hopefully we're gonna do it
All right.
soon. Once
you
you
so
guys
much.
have more stuff to showcase. This is your platform. Don't hesitate. Just give me a call, send me a text or
Awesome,
whatever. We
awesome.
can get it fixed. And Maxim is saying, "Nice pussy, Shavkat." Yeah,
Thanks, Max.
it's a very typical Max. Max, I fucking love you, man. Yeah, Max is a great dude as well, man. Again, thank
Oh,
you.
that's what.
Tell me.
Sorry,
carry on.
just want to say that's all I'm gonna get for my life. So gotta live with it.
Guys, thank you very much for tuning in. Let them know about the page. Let them know about Combos and Chill. Share this video with your loved ones. Let them know about the page. Let's get more traffic into the page. And Shavkat, again, thank you very much for joining me for this session. And
Thank you. No
You
problem.
take care of yourself. And for the people who are watching, I will catch you guys soon on Sunday, which we're going to be doing a continuous topic regarding growth mindset with a good friend of mine, Hamza, which we're going to be dedicating 3 episodes to the same topic, and we're going to explain it in detail. So it's going to be an interesting one, and I hope to see you guys soon. And I'll see you guys soon enough. Take care of yourself and stay safe.
You too. Bye bye.